I believe a lot will be joining soon, but we need to start anyway because of our time. So we are still looking at digging the academic space and finding literature, how to find literature, and we'll be moving on to the next. We have a lot to study tonight, actually, and we'll be seeing the next speaker, and he will give us what he has for us concerning the academic, finding literature, and all that it entails to do with your research papers and your theses and the rest. Yeah, so we invite our president, Frederick, Mr. Frederick. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Obed. Okay, so I think without wasting much time, I'll just go right into business. Can you hear me?
Sure, I can hear you.
Okay. So this will be a very interactive session. As much as possible, I'll be asking questions. So we make it very practical, and then also we try to address the needs on the table. All right, so I'll share my screen and help me confirm if you see my screen. Can you see my screen, desktop?
Okay, not yet. I think it's still loading.
Your screen can be seen now.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, can you validate what you are seeing so that I know?
Yeah, it's live. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So today the second session will just focus on a few of the tools that are available, especially for us in academia. So I want to start with ResearchGate. Okay. So I'm hoping that some of us have heard about ResearchGate. Okay. So ResearchGate is just similar to LinkedIn. However, it's tailored only to academics. Okay. So first of all, you will have to sign up, create an account. If you have a school access, you can use that to log in. So when you go to researchgate.net, you have join for free. Yeah, so you can just click that. And then you can show what kind of person you are, whether you're academic and all that. So if you're academic, they'll require that you use a valid email address that is from an institution, not Gmail, not Yahoo. It's supposed to be something a school's name. Okay, so if you are not a researcher also, you can also use that. But I'm academic, so I'll use academic. So it will ask you for your institution. So for example, let's say I'm in Beijing Institute of Technology. Okay. And then your department, let's say, it's a center of, let me see the options that comes. Perhaps you will not find your department here, but it's fine. You can just continue or choose anyone related to yours. Okay, so let me just choose this and continue. So then you can fill in your name, country, email, and all that. I will not do that because I've already done mine. So once you log in, I think it takes about 24 hours to 48 hours. They'll validate all the details you give, and then you can log in. So I'll move on to my account. Okay, so when you come to the account, the first thing you may see is home. Okay, so home is just like any social media feed, the first page, the feed page. So it gives you latest updates of information, right? Let's say social media like Facebook. But here it gives you the latest publications of people that you are following, and people that have research related to things you have already searched in the past, or people that you are actually related to in the same field. Okay, so that's home. It gives you a lot of that. And then you also have questions. So if you have a question that you find it difficult to answer, or it's something that you are thinking about, or you have any problem, you can also ask the question here. You can ask the question and then it will be there. Sometimes it takes a while, people will answer that if people want to answer. Sometimes it never gets answered also. So that's just by the way. But once there are experts in the field who see your question, they will also be able to answer. Okay, and also there's a job session. Okay, so however, the job is mostly academic based. Okay, so it's not anything else. So you see postdoc positions, PhD positions, master positions in and out of China. Okay, so you can see assistant professor in computer science. And you can also give the settings such that with time, based on your customized setting, it will give you job searches that are related to you. So for me, I'm into computer science and chemistry related things. So I see things like that. Yeah. So this is about the homepage and the things that it offers. Home, questions, and jobs. Are there any questions so far? Am I moving too fast?
It's okay, yeah.
All right, okay. So back to home. So home, you have the opportunity to ask questions and all that in the jobs. However, we have the search button here where you can literally find things related to your topic. So could anyone give me a topic from their field so it doesn't look biased? Anyone can give me a topic related to their field or anyone? Check the chat. Anyone can give me just a title, a topic relevant to you. You can type it in the chat also. No one. Okay, so I'll give myself a topic. So let's say machine learning in, let's say, battery technology. Since you will not give me your own, you will go more related to mine. So I'm searching for this. Let's see, this is what I'm interested in, or this is what I'm looking out for.
Please resend.
So
Resend.
come again.
Check the chat box. Resend.
Okay. So, oh, sorry, I didn't see. Thermal runaway in lithium ion batteries. Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm taking the first. It's quite related to my topic. So, okay, so these are the results that came. So you have the research based on 2022, 2023. So virtually what it's giving you is giving you feeds from the latest research. Of course, it's any type, but it will link it from the most recent to the past. You can also specify it if you want only journals. Okay, so you want the feedback from a journal, it's not give you anything. Yeah. You can also search in terms of people. So which people are in this field? Okay, of course, those who write the papers will come up with time, but there are also people who have specialized over, let's say, 20 to 30 years and have been doing this for a while. So you see people there. Questions that have been asked related to that particular topic will also come up in case maybe you need some research questions for your thesis. And jobs that are related to that particular topic. Okay, so let's say here you see postdoc. No, this is not related. Yeah, however, sometimes jobs come up where it's related to what you have actually searched and some institutions. So maybe you want to move further into this as industry, or you want to do an internship, you can start from here. So an institution in India, Ion Exchange India Limited, maybe you can go there, or that's if you are from India or you want to go there. Local initiatives, it looks like there are a lot of Indian companies into that. Okay, you also have Xi'an Thermal Power Research Institute. So you can follow up on these institutes if you want to do that, but that's not why we are here today, okay? So let's go back to research. So in research, you see some papers coming up before, where is it? Still loading. Sorry, my internet is a little distorted. Okay, so let me do it again. Oh, yes, I'm human. Okay, yeah. So accelerating the numerical solution of thermal runaway in lithium-ion batteries. So this is what came up first. You can ask for the full text or the paper from the author. That if the author is on ResearchGate, you can just go in their inbox and then you ask for it. So this is one way of getting it. Sometimes you can use all the links you want to use, all the approaches, but you just don't get it. So it's better to go to the author. And if there are further questions, you can also just inbox them directly. And based on their time zone, they'll respond to you, depending on their availability as well. You can also recommend the paper. So for example, it's just like share a link. Yeah. So once you recommend it, it will come up on your feed that you have recommended this paper. So anyone who is following you will see that recommendation. You can also share and you can also follow. So for example, if this particular Mohammed Pahizi is someone that is influential in that field, you can just follow them. So anytime they upload a new paper, you don't have to come and check them. It will automatically come on your feed and then you can move ahead from there. Yeah, so that's pretty much about, yes, and if it's open access to you, can easily download the paper. So you don't need to request them. Okay, so this is basically using ResearchGate for looking for a paper or for other things like a job related to academia. You can also inbox, like I said. So if you go to messages, you can text people and then chat with them, find out some questions you have. Actually, I've gotten a lot of help from, using just the chat box. So you just inbox the person. They can send you the paper. So for example, using Dimitrios, So I asked him for a paper and he told me no, he cannot give me that paper because they are doing an advanced paper with time and to come up in a few months. And he sent me the paper just once it was published, even before it came public. He sent me the link and I was able to download it. So I asked for one paper and I got 2 papers in the end. So sometimes you can also use the message and it's more interactive with the people. Any questions so far before I move on to the next part of the work? Moving on from ResearchGate, do you have any question? Any question? Because I'm sharing my screen, it's difficult to see the chat box. So can anyone read anything from the chat box before I move on?
There is no question. You
All
can
right.
move on.
Okay, so if it's clear, then we move on to the next part. Oh, in this chat. All right. Okay, so let me try one more. There's another one here. Aerial UAV. Let's see if we'll find something. Okay, so we also have a 2023 paper and 2024. So ResearchGate is not really for the paper, but to get the people behind the paper. I don't know if you get me. Yeah, so you can get the paper there, but usually also you want to get the people who are actually producing the paper and connect with a community such a way that you get you can ask the questions that, you can't ask them, or you can't wait for a conference to ask them. They brought out a paper, you just have to ask them something that you didn't understand from the paper. Yes, sometimes the email they may not see, but I think most academics who are really active always check their ResearchGate, the messages and everything that is going on, because a lot of things go on here And if you're also looking for a job, academic related, you can also find it here. All right, if there are no questions, I'll move on. Okay, so let's move a little bit away from papers. Okay, so let's say you have a book you need to access, a textbook, or you need a patent you need to access, not really a journal. So these are some of the places I go to. So for example, Library Genesis. Library Genesis, just like Sci-Hub, it really gives you a lot of free things. So a lot of people try to attack it. So the extension is always changing. Here is .rs, but once people complain, the journals and the book publishers complain for giving us this material for free, the website has to be shut down, but it's always there. So when you go to Google or any search engine, you will get the latest extension. Sometimes it's .st, .io, and all that. So here we have librarygenesis.rs. So I want to find a book. Usually it's a book. So let me see. Let me use the next topic here. Blockchain scalability and privacy in logistics platform. So here, there may not be a book named like this. So let me just use blockchain scalability. Or let's say you know the book title that you are looking for. You can search it here. Okay, so we have blockchain scalability and its foundation. So let's say you're a bachelor student, you need a textbook. You are a PhD student, you need certain theories behind what you are doing. You can come here and also download the books. It's very difficult to find a paper here. Yeah, very difficult because it's always ISBN. So mostly books or things that are have relations to publications aside papers. That's just by the way, for those who are into book reading. Okay. Another platform also is ZLibrary. So here is zlibrary.io, but in different parts of the world, once you search, you may get different extensions. Okay, so you can log in, so you keep everything, but if you don't want to log in, yeah, so here I also use the same title. Let's hope we find something. If there's a book by that name, it will pop up. If not, then, oh, there's no book like that. Okay. So let's go with this one, blockchain scalability. Okay, so here also we have books. Let's say I want to download this. Yeah, so you can just download, you can follow them and all that. Once you are logged in, you can do all these things. So aside papers, you need books. You can also come to ZLibrary or Library Genesis. Any questions so far? If not, we'll move on. Okay, so you are let's meet. Okay, that would be very good. Any questions? No questions. Okay, so if you want books, you can come here. It's not always that you need papers. So now let's go into the papers. We've talked about ResearchGate. The next big place I want to talk about is Web of Knowledge or Web of Science. So depending on how you want to call it, people call it Web of Science, people also call it Web of Knowledge. So Web of Knowledge, so far, as I know, has the largest database for all academic related stuff. So when I say database, what do I mean? So in different continents, they also have their databases. In different universities, they also have their databases. But, and also journals also have their databases. Some journals, renowned journals like Elsevier, they all have their databases, meaning that when they publish a paper, they index it there. But Web of Science goes beyond that and collects everyone's database as much as they can. So if you are looking for a paper, you don't have to go to a particular database. You just come to Web of Science and hopefully you'll be able to find, most of the time, you'll be able to find something good related to that topic or that particular paper. So some of the databases that are here since 1637, that's quite old. Yeah. So we have the Chinese science database, we have the German one, we have the Korean one, we have the medical one, we have ProQuest, we have Cielo in Portuguese and all that. Okay, so there's a lot of databases here. So once you search, it's like a big supermarket. You can get a lot of things. Okay, so in the first session, we did the and or not thing. Yeah, so basically we can do it also here. So you can use either a topic, a title, the author, the publication source, or the title, the year published, the abstract, address, DOI, the editor, just the editor of the journal. You can just use to find something. The group, let's say if it's an institution, you can also use to find the paper. So usually you just go with a topic. That's if you have the keyword. So I'll borrow from the group chat. Once again, let's see. Let me go with the second one. Okay. So with this, it's based on keywords. If your keywords is very refined, you get very good searches. Okay, so let me just see. I just use everything here and I press search. I have 738 results. Okay. So one thing I forgot to say is Web of Science, you need to sign in. And signing in, you need, whatever you sign in with gives you access. So if you have institutional access, you get more things to download, or you get things easier to download. But if you use your normal email to sign in, it will be limited. You can see it, but you may not be able to download it. So here I'm using the one without, no, I think this one I've signed it. Let me use the one without. But anyway, you can still see it. So full text at publisher. So if it's free or it's open access, then you can download it. But if it's not free, then you can also use your institution's access to download it. Okay. So here we have, you can get it from the publisher's website if it's free. It gives you the citation, it gives you some references and all that. Okay, so before I go deep into Web of Science, let's go back. So, for example, I have two keywords. I can add another row. So either I use the and or not. You can choose any of them. So let's say aerial UAV tracking for ground targets. But let's say I want to add another topic to it, maybe for agriculture. Let me see, I'm not really sure what it's for, but agriculture. Or I want to add another word, let's say in oceans, something, or that is applicable, I'm not sure, but anyway. So you could add as many. The reason why you can do this is, for example, you want to use a particular theory to apply to so many things. And before you start your literature, you don't know what to do. So let's say there's a technique in your lab that, of course, whatever you do in your thesis will be about that technique. But for exactly the purpose or application that you want to do, you don't know. So you are just putting in anything to see if something will come up. Okay. So if you use the and, then it means that these three must always be there. But if you use or, which is more advisable, then you open it to a lot of things. However, when you open it up also, it brings in things that may not be entirely related to. Once there's agriculture in the title or in the paper, it will come up. It may not even be related to what you are doing. So it's up to you. If you want to read wide, then you can use the or. But if you want to read specifically for what you are doing, then you can use the and. The not session, the not option is also available. Okay, so let's search. Okay, so from 738, we've expanded it so much to 2 million. That's if I'm right. Yeah, 2 million, and you cannot read all this. So with Web of Science, the more refine your searches. So let's try and break it down. Area UAV tracking for ground targets. The one who typed it, can you help us to refine it more, if possible? For what purpose or for what application? Then we can do that. If not, I'll just move on. No problem.
Yeah, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, you said you want to know more about that topic.
Yeah, so that I can put in more keywords.
Oh, like it's about drones.
Okay, so let me put drone.
Like how drones, yeah, how drones do target these objects on the ground.
Okay, any other word we can add? One more, so we just.
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's just use the two. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so from 738, we now narrow down to 10. So this is more specific. So if you just put in some keywords, it gives you a lot of feedback. But if it's very specific, so 10, I'm sure once you read through this 10, it may be as closely related to what you are looking for as possible. So yeah, the more refined your search is, then you can also get very good results. All right, because it's from a lot of databases, so it could give you as many as you want. Okay, so let's look at how we can refine our results also. We can use by the years. We can use the document type. If it's a meeting, for example, you want conferences, you want any other place where this thing was presented, you can just look at that. If you want articles, so in here, out of the 10, we have 5 of them from conferences or meetings. We have 4 from articles, and we just have 2 from patents. So usually I'm interested in patents because sometimes what you think that is new in your field, somebody has done it and they've archived it as a patent. You may not see it when you do the normal searches because it's a patent. A lot of people don't read that. A lot of people don't reference that. But you may waste 2 years of your life and realize that somebody did it 10 years ago. So usually patent, before you start anything new, you should look at patent because there's a likelihood that somebody's work is there, has been done a lot, but it doesn't pop up in the normal searches because not a lot of people read it. And if you are not in industry or you are not so technical, you may not read the patents. Yeah, so there are just 2 patents. And sometimes it teaches you everything about the theory and as much as possible gives you more in-depth about the patent. And if the person fortunately is on ResearchGate or you have their email, you can just follow up and then get insight. Perhaps you may just get an internship from working with them. Yeah, so that's also about that. So let's go back. Again, I'm going back a lot. Yeah, let's go back. Okay. So using the same topic, you can just find researchers. Okay, so, or you can just find a researcher by name. I don't know of any popular researcher in your field, but I know in my field. So I'll just use their name. So Green, hopefully they are there. If they are very renowned, they'll be there. If they are not, yeah, so the second person is the one I'm looking for. So just search by that name, William H. Green. Is a professor at MIT, and it shows you everything about him, the papers he has published. So if your supervisor is known, you can use this as a check. Before you go for a PhD or you go for a master's, you can come and check your supervisor's name here. If he's not here, then don't go. just by the way. Yeah, so you can use this to follow the person by what they do. For example, you know, William Green is very known for machine learning. So anybody who is into machine learning in chemistry always has to go to this guy. So once you go there, you see the latest things that he has done, whether it's a publication online or offline, you can also get those things. And one thing I want to talk about is the preprint. Preprint usually has not been peer reviewed. So it may not be on any other journals database because it's online, but it's not online. What do I mean? A preprint is just like, okay, I had an idea, I have a technology, but I don't want it to submit to any journal. So I've just brought it online for the whole community to just use it. So they can just use it and that paper may be there and people can just get an idea from it. And of course, you can also use that idea by yourself, but it's not in any journal. It has not been peer reviewed. So for someone like William Green, he does a lot of preprints because he's the boss. Everyone goes to him. But people who are not so known in the area cannot do preprints. If you do it there, somebody takes your idea, that's it. They may also further publish it, and then you lose that thing. But William Green, he doesn't care. He's white old, and he determines the pace in the field. So he's like always teaching us. Yeah. So you can see his indexes and all that. So if you know someone very influential in your field, you can do that. So that's just by the way. Any questions, or I can move on? I've not been elected, so I'm just hoping there are no questions. Okay, so back to this topic. Now, I want to do further studies on this topic, okay? So I'll analyze the results that have been given. Okay, so I can analyze by research area and check if, for example, am I in engineering? No, if I'm not in engineering, then I'll not look at the papers in that area. Am I in automation control system? There are 473 of them that are in that area. Am I in communication, blah, blah, blah. So you can also use this for, is it specific to you? Although it's drone and all that, maybe it's for computer science and you are not into computer science. So you look out for the research area that you are in and then use that. Of course, you can download this tree mat chart. You can also use bar chart if you want. This is just in case you are doing a literature review, you can use this. It gives you the accounts also here and optics, chemistry, and all that. Okay. You can also do looking at the document types. So I'm analyzing based on the document type. It's an article. So I have out of the 738, just 357 are articles. If that's what you are interested in, then you go. If it's a meeting, you have that. If it's a thesis, yeah. If it's a thesis, maybe you don't even know how to go about a thesis in your field. You can look at some sample thesis on this topic and then you download. Well, of course, if you copy everything, plagiarism checker will catch you. So yeah, but of course you can get some inspiration from there. You can also have patents, review papers and all that. Yeah. By the data, I've talked about that. By the database, perhaps you just want only Chinese database because you are in China, or you just want a particular one. You can just go directly into that one and then download it. There are many ways you can also do this. From the publication source, the affiliation, the country, this will apply if you want to look at, let's say, for only Africa. You want to use the drone application for only Africa, or papers that have come from Africa, you can do that. By language, you can also do that. Filter list, the list is endless. You can explore it by yourself. Written by Chinese authors, yes. Publications from Chinese titles and all that. So this is just one of the tools you can use, Web of Science. It gives you everything. This is not about access. If you have access, you can download it. But if it's just to help you in your search and then further move on from what to do next. Perhaps you don't know anything about the field, you are new. Your supervisor, as they always say, go and read. So here you just come and find what to read. And this is quite credible and things that are important to read. I want to end here on the Web of Science because there are so many things you can do from here, but this is not why we are here today. Just to introduce you to it. You can further study it by yourself. Any questions? If not, I'll move on. Let me check. A question. This Web of Science has data.
There's a question in the comment.
Yes, I'm reading it. Only the previously listed database because it has been showing mainly Asian names and papers. Okay, so it's not entirely the case. It's just because I'm located in China and my access is from a Chinese institution. That's why it's thinking I'm Chinese. So of course, when I search something, it will bring me Chinese related things. Okay, so let me do another example where, or perhaps the technology is mostly from Chinese, or the topic is being championed by a lot of Chinese. So yeah, that's what it will come. But let's see another topic. I think there was a third topic here. Oh, I've used Blockway. Okay, let's try blockchain again. Okay, so, okay, let's use the advanced search. Okay, so in the advanced search, you have a lot of things you can customize. So it gives you other options. that you can do aside that. So if you want to, of course, the topic and the region, let's see if we have that. No, we have just the author or the year published. Okay, let me just do the normal one. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so this is blockchain scalability, and it's coming from a non-Chinese, so it's not always about China. Yeah, this is Atka. I'm not sure it's Chinese. Yeah, but yeah, just two. Yeah, so if you reform or you revise the keywords, you get more things that are, or more papers that are related to that. I hope that question has been answered. But of course, whatever will come up is just because of what is in their database or which access or which login details you have used. So if you are from the US and you log in, automatically to be bringing out things in that region first. That's also if the technology is from the. Okay, so I think we are done with Web of Science. There's no question, hopefully. We are done with ResearchGate. There's no question, hopefully. So the next place I'll move on to is Mendeley. Okay, so here you see my name at the top. So let me log out to where my name is not at the top. Okay, so once you do www.mendeley.com, this is what comes in. Mendeley also has a reference manager if you want to use that. But here it says it can search over 100 million cross publisher articles and counting. So whatever you want to type, I'm still using the same topic. So it gives me the search results. And of course, similar to Web of Science, you can have whatever you want and customize it based on the journal, the document type, the year. If you are signed in, then whatever you use to sign in is the access you have. So if you want to add to library, you can add that. And if you want to download, then you have to sign in. So let me try and sign in. Oh no, I've done that on the other side. Okay, so once you sign in and then now you check. It's asked your library. Now, if you have Mendeley Reference Manager, automatically it exports it to your library. So when you are doing your document where you need to cite this particular paper, automatically you can just go to your Mendeley Reference Manager and then it picks it up from there. It's still saying sign in to view PDF. Okay. You can get the full text, that's if it's open. So it sends you to the link where you can find that particular document and you are good to go. So I prefer Mendeley because it has the search and then the reference manager at the same time. So you can see here that my access is provided by my school. So I can download this PDF. Okay, so I download the PDF and I'm good to go. If you don't have access to this, the first session we talk about copying the DOI and then moving. So the DOI is here. You go to Sci-Hub and then you try and do it. Okay, you can add to library. I've already talked about that. But this is also another place where you can find the literature you are looking for. And it's, like they said, over 100 million. So hopefully you should get, when we checked in Web of Science, it was only 2 papers that came up. But here we have 8. Okay, so I think this is an improvement from that. Any questions? The same thing happens to me even on Google Scholar. Is there a way to fix that? I don't really get a question. Maybe you can open your audio and then we talk about it.
Hi, I'm talking about the reference where like the results just shows you results from a particular region, mainly China. So like when you enter keywords, I noticed that most of the authors are Chinese authors.
Okay, so let me sort that one out. Okay, so if you are using Bing, okay, and you search something, let me say the topic. So here in Bing, it gives you, if your Chinese is good, you see that the left, which one is highlighted, it's for internal or local. If you don't want that, then you can use the international version, which is on the right-hand side. So at the top here, I don't know if you can see my screen, but if it's here on the left-hand side, then it means you are looking for things based on the region in which you are searching it from, which is China at the moment. If you're not in
Oh,
China,
it's not showing. Your screen is not showing. Okay, now it's showing.
okay, yeah. So on the left-hand side for Bing, I'm using Bing as an example. For the left-hand side, you have the Chinese version and then the international version. So if you are looking for something beyond the borders of China, then you should always be on the right-hand side before you search or after you search, and it gives you the customization. Another thing also is the page indexing. Usually when we look at the first page, we just look at the first two results and we are done. No, sometimes go down here, and I think this applies also to Google. You go to the second page, you can go to the third page, you can go to the fourth page, you can go to the 100th page before you find exactly what you are looking for. So even though wherever city or wherever country you are in gives you the first results based on that region, you can use the page indexing and go further. Maybe on the 7th result, you will find something that is not in your region, or you find something that is not so popular. However, it's important to what you are looking out for. So you can use the Bing, if you have Bing, you can use the international or local version, customize both sides. You can also use the page indexing to handle that problem. Aside this, like I said, once you have logged in with a certain access and Google or whatever browser can locate your location, it will give you results based on the location. This is a normal search engine algorithm. So that's how it works. So if you want to move beyond that, then you have to know the people in that area. You can use I prefer Bing because it gives me this option to switch in between locations. And of course, if you have a VPN also, you can customize the VPN to another location, and then the page indexing. I hope that may solve the problem of country switch. Okay, so that's just by that. Any question on Mendeley? If not, I'll move on. Okay. So assuming you are using Mendeley, once you want to sign in, so you have to sign in by an organization. Hopefully, everybody here is in an organization and has an institutional email. Okay, if you don't have that, that will be very difficult for you as an academic person. So institutional email, you can go to your counselor, you can go to your IT personnel and ask them for an institutional address. So let's say you don't know your email, but you can sign in via the organization. If you know your email, you just put in here and log in. And your email should be institution related. Because if you use Gmail, it will still be limited. Okay, so you go in, sign in by organization. So my organization name, I'll not use my current organization just for security purpose. Okay, so I'll use my alma mater. Okay, so every organization, I'm sure, in the US, in China, you have a login page. So once you key in your institution, it will bring you to that login page. And if your details are known or it works, then you can log in. Once you log in, then Mendeley or any other resource that requires institutional login will give you the access to the paper. And now instead of saying sign in to view the PDF, it says view PDF and I can download. So for this one, there's not much we can do unless you have the login. But of course, we're showing you other ways to also get the institution address. If you have the institution email, you can use that to log in. If you don't know your email, but you know your school portal landing page, login details, you can do that. However, in some cases, or in some particular papers, your school may still be blacklisted. Let me put it that way. It's blacklisted, so you may not have access to it. For example, if it's the paper or the technology or whatever you are looking out for is from the US, it's likely possible that if you are not from certain Chinese institutions, you may not have it. So you have the Chinese Academy of Sciences. If you are not part of this particular schools, you may not have access to it because on the list it's just CAS, and then a certain few organizations that can have it. If I'm from Africa also, you may face the same challenge. So institution access is important. However, certain institutions also have challenges or they've been blacklisted, so you cannot have access to some papers. So it's also good to be in a community that you always can reach out to someone in the US and then you can get it. The US also may need something from China, then you can always share as much as possible. Okay, so that will be all for Mendeley. Any question? No questions. All right. Okay. Now let's look at connected papers. Connected papers also helps in your literature review. In case you have a paper title, you have the DOI, you have the URL link for the paper and all that. You can build a graph. Now, what's the importance of this graph? The graph helps you to know where to start reading from, okay? And as much as possible, who is doing what in that field. So keywords, paper title, DOI. So let's say I'm using my topic that was given to me. I'll build a graph. Okay. Now, hopefully, whatever paper comes up first, you have to read through all of them. I think it's about 10 or so. And then you must choose one particular one that you feel is more important to you. Okay. So here, the graph will be built on that particular paper, meaning that paper is the most important paper that you are interested in. If you also have a paper that you've read or your supervisor has recommended to you, you can bring it here and then try it. Okay, so let's assume it's the second one. So you allow their GNN to build the graph for you. It's just machine learning. Okay, so here we have different names that have come up on this particular topic. The 4 written papers concerning this topic. So the bigger the dots or the larger the dots, it means that they have more influence. And then also they've connected the papers for you such that you see which papers have cited which papers and which papers are closely related to each other in terms of the topic or the content. You can see here that Abdallah 2016, hopefully you can all see it, it's quite far away from everybody. So meaning that although he has published a lot of papers, he's on his own. Not a lot of people are doing things related to his work. So for example, this may happen if it's a new trend that is coming in. So you realize that these guys around him are as closely related to him more than these new ones that are in the middle. So if it's clustered in the middle, meaning that it's an old technique that everybody is doing it, people are writing paper on it, or it's something new that a lot of people have written something about. But if you're a PhD, you always want to do something new. So sometimes you have to break out of that clustered area and look at people outside the area and see if what they are doing there is quite relevant or something novel that you can also break through. So this is the whole importance of connected papers. It also gives you other papers like you can see, but the relevance here is to help you to know in which direction you can move away from or move towards into. I think that's all I want to say about connected papers. If there are questions, you can ask. If not, I'll move on. The silence is very loud anyway. So I hope everything is going on well. So aside connected papers, we can use Research Rabbit. So Research Rabbit also, it's connected directly to Zotero. So if you use Zotero Reference Manager, this may be a good place for you. It links directly, just like Mendeley had its own. You can also upload the file here. If you have the paper, you just upload it here. So once you upload the paper or once you search for what you are looking for, then the feedback also comes. And depending on the topic and the abstract, if you feel it's important, you add to your collection for further reading in your next literature things. So this is also things you can do using Research Rabbit. You can add to your collection and you can also check what you want to do. Any questions? Okay, we are soaking it. Okay, all right. This is more Zotero. I don't use Zotero. I don't prefer using Zotero, so I'll not talk about it. But anyway, let me just sell it to you. So the reason why I don't prefer Zotero or the other one, what's the name? Forgot. It crashes easily. Let me put it that way. So once you go beyond,
EndNotes.
come again.
EndNotes.
Yes, EndNote. EndNote, aside being that you have to get a paid version, for Zotero, once you go beyond, depending on you, if you're a PhD, you will have a lot of papers once you finish your PhD. Zotero is not so stable. Beyond certain papers, your Zotero can crash. So I've seen it firsthand, so I don't prefer Zotero, but you can use it if you are just doing hundreds of papers. But if you go into the thousands, Zotero is not a good option from my personal experience. I'm not spoiling their market, but that's the truth. So I prefer Mendeley. However, if you are using Research Rabbit, you can easily connect to Zotero and then move on from there. We are not doing literature review today, so I'll not talk so much about this. Maybe in another session where we are focusing on literature review, we'll see everything live and colored. But aside that, Research Rabbit doesn't have any special thing to talk about, just that it's just another option. If you prefer Zotero, then you have to come here. If you prefer Mendeley, then use Mendeley. All right. So these are just options. Okay. I've talked about connected papers, so I can close that. Semantic Scholar is also another nice place to go to. 214 million papers from all fields of science. Repeat, all fields of science. So if you are not science related, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I'm not showing you all of these so that you use all of them. Just know which one it's favorable to you, and then you can customize yourself to make your work easy. But of course, they are all different databases. So depending on what you are looking for, you may look for one in another database or the other. It's just good to know. Oh, so they're having trouble. Okay. So hopefully it's working now. And this one also, you need to. Oh, so Semantic Scholar, I'm trying to sell you, it's not working today. Okay, let me go into my signed in access and see if it will work here. They're already disappointing me. Okay, so hopefully if I've signed in, it should work. Oh, it's still having trouble, or maybe it's just
Or try a different topic.
okay. Oh, I think it's just a server problem. Maybe they're having problems. Or let me change my browser. Maybe that will work. Okay, good. So yeah, so I think it was a browser problem. So Semantic Scholar, just like the others, it has a field of study data range. If it has a PDF, it will tell you. If there's an author, based on the author, you can customize that search. So it has 898 searches. You can sort by relevance. You are looking for the most cited papers, most recent papers, and all that. Once you sign in also, you get the ability to save. You can also get a citation of the paper based on which format you want. So this is just about Semantic Scholar. Of course, there are other things you can do here, but like I said, we are just here to introduce what to do. So if you prefer Semantic Scholar, you can do that. It does nothing more. There's an AI part, but of course, here is free account. So if you want a paid version, you also have to have other things. I think we've done almost 1 hour. Can we break for 5 minutes? The DJ will take over, then we'll come into the AI, fully AI, if that's possible.
Yes.
All right.